and welcome back to another Diary of a PT Student. It's your girl Anna, and I have decided that I am going to make this video showing my journey with studying for the NPTE. So if you've seen some of my other ones, I did one when I was studying for the comprehensive exam, which is the practice exam that I had to pass before I was able to do my clinical rotations. So if you've been looking at my channel, I've been doing updates of my clinical rotations, which the videos haven't been going very well because the app that I use hasn't been saving them. My one for my second rotation, I'm almost halfway through my third one right now, and I haven't uploaded my ones from my second rotation because every time I try to get them to save, they won't save. So I'm still trying to figure that out. Hopefully, if you're watching this one, those are up by now. But if you aren't updated on all of that, I'll kind of give a little recap. For my program, I go to Northern Arizona University, and we do all of our clinical rotations at the end of the program. If you didn't know, there's a whole thing. I had to retake a class, blah, 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 blah. If you want to know about that, watch my other videos, because I'm not going to get into that on this one. But I'm in clinical rotations right now. We do 3 10-week clinicals. So I've already done 1 and 2, and I'm halfway through 3. So I'm almost done. But where it gets a little crazy is the NPTE, which is the National Physical Therapy Examination, which is how I get my license to be a physical therapist. That test for the July exam, it's offered 4 times a year, so I'm trying to take the one that's in July, is literally the last week of my clinicals. So I will take the exam and then end clinicals within a day or 2. And my CI is going on vacation that week. So we're having a lot of fun trying to figure out timing wise and making up hours and schedule, because I'll obviously have to be shadowing a different physical therapist while she's on vacation. So just trying to figure out all the hours has been a little cray-cray, but it's fine. So anyway, now that that's all out of the bag, I just took a practice test. So I came to campus, go to the library, because I was trying to best simulate the exam, because that's usually how they suggest that you should do it. So I'll have to drive to the test center, sit in front of a computer. I can't have any water. You only get 1 15-minute break. So another thing about the exam, it's a 250 question exam. It's 5 sections. 50 of the questions are practice questions, but we don't know which 50 those are. They're not scored, but the rest of it is. To pass the exam, I need to get a 600 out of 800, which they have this whole scoring system. So it's on a 200 to 800 scale. So it's a whole thing. I don't even know. I'm not gonna get into all that. For the comp exam that I mentioned, when I took that one, for my program to pass the comp exam to go to clinicals, you have to get a 550. So I got a 557, if you saw that video. So I was very proud of myself because I was I don't care if I get a 550 on the dot. I just want to pass, which I did, obviously. For the NPTE, same thing. I just want to pass. The score doesn't matter to me as long as it's passing, basically. So I took my first practice exam since comps, and I got a 52%, which is fine. It's fine. My comp exam, I got a 47.5% on my practice exam, and I passed that one. So I'm not getting too upset about it. And also, so this exam, I literally was falling asleep taking this exam. I was so tired. I've been having major fatigue. I've been trying to drink less caffeine. That's not going well. I did have a chai this morning. I had a kiwi and a good breakfast. I felt great this morning, but just sitting there trying to focus and take an exam for that long, holy cow. Like, I was literally had to like drop my head and like close my eyes a few times. I didn't run out of time. For this exam, it was only 200 questions, so they don't add in that like 50 question like not answered or not scored section for the practice exam. So this one should be around 4 hours. I did it in like 3.5 hours. But honestly, like, I did not put in all of my effort taking this. I was falling asleep and I just was guessing, honestly, on a lot of them because I just could not focus. And I was like, I'm mostly just using this exam to try to get like a new baseline. So like when I took my practice exam before comps, I did the same thing. I was trying to get a baseline so I knew like what I needed to focus on and whatnot. So I did the same thing for this. So I wasn't putting like so much like weight into it, if that makes sense. Being like, oh, like if I don't pass this exam, then like I won't pass boards kind of thing. It was just more of a not huge big deal. I don't know. So I'm not worried about the 52%. I mean, honestly, like, I mean, it's not great, but considering what was going on during the exam, I was like, that's not bad, actually. So pretty good. And it's a therapy ed one, which is usually a little bit harder. So my first practice exam that I took before comps was a score builders exam, which people have said is a little bit easier. So therapy ed is supposed to be harder. So I'm actually like, I'm impressed that I still did better on the therapy ed one than I did on the score builders one, and it's been like 6 months. So I'm not freaking out. It's fine. And then, so like literally, if I take the July NPTE, it's in like, I have like 6 weeks left. So I've planned out, like, I'm literally gonna take a practice exam like every Sunday. So like next week I'll take my second score builders, and then the week after that I'll take the second therapy ed, and then the third score builders, and then the third therapy ed, and then the Sunday before I'm gonna take my second PEAT exam. So my comp exam was a PEAT, which is a practice exam, which is like the most similar to the actual NPTE. So usually they say if you pass a PEAT, you should pass the NPTE. So I'm saving my second PEAT until like right before the exam. So that's my plan for that. With Sundays being my only day off, that's really the only day that I can take it, unless I don't work on Saturday and don't have a shift on Saturday, but it doesn't really matter to me. That's what this video is going to be about. So lots of practice exams and maybe putting in a couple clips here and there about things, like some score builders clips on their little things. Probably, I was gonna do it today, but I didn't. Maybe, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this video, but you know, I like taking those little walk into the library and, you know, seeing that, so it kind of breaks up the boringness of me just talking in my car. So we'll see how that goes, and hopefully this video isn't 1,000 years long, because I think that's why my other videos aren't saving, because they're like 55 minutes and my phone just can't handle it. So I'm probably gonna have to break those up. I was trying to get them out in 2 parts, and I think they're gonna be more than that. So anyway, sidetracked. Okay, keep watching and see how NPTE studying goes, and then of course once I actually take the exam, and I'll let you know what happens with that. So wish me luck. just took my second practice exam, and I didn't do as well as I thought I was going to, which I'm kind of bummed about, but I didn't fall asleep during this one, so that was good, which is why I felt more confident about it. I felt like I was reading the questions better and understood. There was some where I literally just guessed because I had no idea, so I'm gonna obviously go through the questions, but I'm not gonna do what I had been planning on doing and using the review as a study guide, because I was actually listening to one of Kyle Rice's videos on his Facebook page, and he said to not do that as a study strategy and to just be more specific with your studying. So I'm gonna use the results to know what sections I need to study versus trying to study everything. And I didn't really do that much studying, honestly, between this last week, between my last practice exam and this one. So my score only went up I think 2%-ish, something like that. I did take a video of my performance, so I will overlay that while I'm talking. Also, this was a score builders exam, and my last practice exam was therapy ed, so there is a difference there. So I did do better on this score builders practice exam than I did on my first one, which I show at the end of this little clip. But so I did improve in sections. It's just still not that great, but I'm not super discouraged because a lot of people have said that they failed every single practice exam that they took before taking the NPTE. So there's that. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna basically use this to focus my studying a little bit better. But yeah, it is what it is. And then I didn't really plan this out super well because I was gonna go back home and do grocery shopping and all kinds of stuff, and it's 2 p.m. and I'm starving, so I got some hot Cheetos and a Diet Coke from the vending machines that are on the floor of the library, so I'm gonna eat that. But I actually have a box of clothes in my car that I'm trying to sell one way or another. I took them to Plato's Closet yesterday and they didn't take anything. So there's actually a Buffalo Exchange nearby because I'm on campus. So I'm actually gonna go there really quick and see if they are gonna take anything. But I am planning on whatever they don't take, try to sell on Poshmark. So the side note about the NPTE, but look out for a video about that. I've been trying to do it for a while, but it probably won't happen until after this NPTE BS. So just side note about that. Speaking of which, I'm kind of freaking out a little bit because the deadline for approval from the FSBPT is the 29th and it is the 26th. So I'm freaking out. So I sent an email to the program director and was like, hey, I don't know if I need a letter from you stating that I'm eligible to take the exam because I'm technically taking it before my graduation date, even though it's literally a day or two before, but whatever. So I sent him an email. I know it's Sunday, so hopefully he looks at it. And yeah, I don't know what's going on with that because I'm literally freaking out that I'm not gonna be eligible to take the July one. So we'll see how that goes. That's about it for now. So keep watching to see what finds out, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna go eat my snacks and do my errands for the day. Bye. Okay, I have to make a clip, even though technically this isn't studying for the NPTE, but it's applying for the NPTE, and holy mother of God, if anybody is watching this and you're a PT student who is going to get licensed as a physical therapist, there's a lot more you have to do besides just applying and registering for the NPTE. Apparently, you have to apply for licensure. At least this is in Arizona, so if you're not in Arizona, disregard this. This is in Arizona. You have to submit your application for a licensure before you can get approved for the exam, which don't get me started. So I have been stressing all day. I think I mentioned this in one of my study clips where I was freaking out because I didn't know if I was gonna be able to take the July exam. So we'll find out, because it's literally almost 9:30 at night. Sorry if you can hear noises in the background. And I had to submit my whole application, which my proof of citizenship and my fingerprint clearance card. I can't speak. I'm so sorry. I need to go to bed. But yeah, all this stuff, a headshot and all this stuff, and then I had to request a transcript, get my transcript sent over, and I had to email this lady and send her all this stuff, and she probably thinks that I'm the dumbest person because she's why didn't you start this sooner? And I literally didn't know. I have gotten zero help because I basically get forgotten about because I'm not on the same timeline as everybody else. So my whole class got this whole thing that said everything, and I had to search through my emails to try and find it because I was I had no idea what was going on. And I'd reached out to one of my PT school friends, and she's the first person to mention to me that I need to do this application and all this stuff because I'd registered for NPTE and then I was awaiting eligibility, and I don't know what that means. And there was nothing on the FSBPT website stating what that meant. It literally just said oh, you have to get eligible in your jurisdiction, but it didn't actually tell you how to get eligible in your jurisdiction. So I was what the heck? So I mentioned it to her that I was freaking out about eligibility, and then she's yeah, you need to do your application. I'm what? So she kind of walked me through it because she had issues when she tried to register for the NPTE, and so she wasn't able to take the October one and had to take the January one. So I was freaking out that that's gonna happen to me, that I won't be able to take the July exam and I'll have to take the October, which wouldn't be the end of the world. It's fine, but I was super stressed today about this whole thing, and it's my fiance's birthday today, so, and I worked 10 hours. I was cycling for 11 hours, so I went and picked up Cheesecake Factory for us because he'd been wanting cheesecake, so I did that, but I was only able to hang out with him for half an hour, and then I was I'm sorry, I have to finish this application, and literally submitting pictures of all this stuff, my driver's license and all that jazz. So I hope that everything's good, because if not, I'm literally going to freak out. So if anybody is watching this, don't be like me and do things last minute, because I literally just didn't know. So love that so much. It's fine. I mean, it's also my fault. I should have looked into things earlier, but everything just stated that you had to register for the exam. Anyway, I could go on and on about how I feel completely just tossed into the wind with no help whatsoever. But it's fine. It's fine. So we'll see how studying continues to go and what happens with the NPTE. So stay tuned. It's gonna be a good time. Okay, first and foremost, I just got the new iPhone and I'm trying cinematic mode for the first time, and this is amazing. So hopefully the quality of my videos is gonna skyrocket. Second of all, we're gonna have a little car chat while I drive home and tell you all about the update of the drama about trying to get prepared for the NPTE. So let's get going. So from the video or the clip that you just saw from before this, I just reviewed it all yesterday, so we're up to date right now. So in that video, it's the same video. In that clip before this that you literally just would have watched like 30 seconds ago, I was sending in my application to try to get approved to take the July exam. I ended up getting a deficiency letter stating that like I was missing all this information, and the information that I was missing was my transcripts, which I won't get my official transcripts because I haven't graduated from my program yet. So that won't post until I graduate. So I'm like, don't have those. It asked for my NPTE scores. LOL, that's literally what I'm trying to sit for. So I don't have scores for that. That's the whole purpose of this thing. Same thing with the Arizona law exam. I'm literally trying to take those tests, which I was told I had to submit this application before I could take these tests. So no, I don't have scores for them. Then it also, because I was trying to take it before graduation, I got this like candidate letter, and they were like, oh, like, you know, you need this. And I was like, I sent that, it's literally attached. And then there was this citizen form, which like I had to post, like, you know, to check that I was a, you know, US citizen or whatever, attached my driver's license to it. But then there's a part that says type of license and license number. So I didn't fill that out because LOL, I don't have a license. Speaking of which, that was the other thing. It asked me for my current licenses, and I was like, I do not have any licenses. That's literally the point of this application, is I'm trying to get my license. So the whole thing made no sense, and I literally emailed the lady back like an email of like that exact thing that I just said, like, I don't have this, and this for these reasons. I was like, I don't know what you want from me. And then she was like, please let me know when a good time to talk to you on the phone, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, what is happening? So I finally got a hold of this lady. She also got an extension, which was good because the application would literally due that day. So she got an extension, and I was like, okay, like, this is why I don't have this. And so I finally got her on the phone, and I was like, I'm so confused. Like, I don't understand why I need all this information that I literally don't have. And she's like, well, Anna, like, I need you to send your transcripts, and I need you to do this. And I was like, I requested my transcripts, but they won't be sent to you until my degree is posted. So I don't know what you want. Like, and she's like, well, you're taking the exam, you know, like this date, blah, blah. And I was like, no, like, you don't understand. Like, I graduate, quote unquote, on July 29th. That is my last day of clinical, so that's what they put as my graduation date, because I'm not actually like going to a graduation. But the exam is July 27th or the 28th. And she's like, oh,
So what had happened was the letter that I said that I had to get for like my like candidate of graduation letter, which was from my program stating that I've met all the requirements, that I'm eligible to sit for the NPTE, blah, 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 blah. That letter that I got from them said that my graduation day was July 29th, but that the NPTE was also July 29th. So she said, according to her, I was taking the test after I graduated, which is why I needed like all of those documents. And I was like, no. I'm taking it before graduation, so I don't have all that. She's like, okay, well, this is what I need you to do. Like, I had to send her like an email that was like verbatim stating that like I do not hold any current licenses or expired at all, and like all this jazz. And I was like, okay. So then I finally, like, she was like, I'm gonna set that you're approved, and like, you know, just send me those last couple like updates, because I had to get a new letter from my program, and I had to like fill out that thing on the citizen form. And then she's like, once I get those, like, you'll be good, but I'll set it as eligible, like, so that I like meet the deadline or whatever. And I was like, okay, great, sounds awesome. And I received my eligibility, and I was like, awesome, sweet, like finally, like good, we're good to go. But then the next thing on like the checklist is I need this authorization to test letter, which comes from the FSBPT. So then I'm waiting around for this, and I'm waiting. And then like I tried calling the FSBPT, but they're all the way in freaking like Virginia or something. I don't even know. And so when I called, like they were closed already because like of the time difference. But then like I ended up getting it's called the ATT letter on Friday. Today's Monday. I got my eligibility, I think last Monday or something. I don't remember. The timeline was so messed up. Like I did not get my ATT in like a good time. And so the ATT is what tells you the instructions to actually schedule your exam. And so I went to schedule it, and there is no testing left in Arizona, like anywhere in the entire state. So love that for me. And the program director at my rotation even said that he heard that there's no testing left. And so like one of my friends was like, oh, we'll just like, you know, make it into a vacation, like we'll just travel, blah blah blah, you'll be fine. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like there is no way that I would be able to leave clinic one day, drive out of state, either California, Utah, New Mexico, like those are Nevada, like those are the four closest states. There's no way that I'd be able to leave clinic, travel to one of those states, take a 5-hour exam, drive back, and then have clinic the next day within like a day or two of each other. Like that would be literally impossible. So I finally, long story long, basically all of this freaking BS has turned into I now have to postpone my exam and have to take the October exam, which like half of me is really bummed about, because like obviously I've worked so hard up until this point that like I want to just like be done. Honestly, like with clinicals and then boards, like I just want to be done and start like working. But at the same time, like it was causing me so much stress and anxiety trying to study for this test. Like with the schedule that I have at clinic, it was like literally impossible. Like my fatigue is through the roof right now. I'm like, so half of me is like almost glad because it's honestly taken like a big weight off, just because like I was putting in like so much stress into taking the July exam. See how it turns out. Obviously this video I'm probably gonna maybe end here because it's honestly already long enough. So this isn't really gonna be a studying for the NPTE. It's more gonna be like preparation for the NPTE, applying for the NPTE, something like that. I'm still frustrated like how like I was in the last clip, that like I literally had no idea that any of that was like this complicated. And like, yes, it is like obviously like my fault too, like, you know, I shouldn't just be like waiting around for somebody to tell me like, you know, what to do. But at the same time, like I have looked at the FSBPT website like I don't know how many times, and I was like, oh, you register by this date and you do this. And like I said, like on the website there's nothing that tells you like what getting approved from your jurisdiction means. And so like there was just a lot of like miscommunication. Like I tried to like be prepared, and it just didn't work out. And then since I like literally don't like have anybody that's in the same boat, and like when I tried to reach out to my class, nobody responded to my message. So like I was kind of like lost in the dark, is what it is at this point. Like, yeah, it sucks that like I'm basically gonna like have to wait another 3 months before I can like have a full-time job, which sucks. And I'm just gonna be working at Big 5. I'm gonna meet my 10-year in October, most likely, because the exam will be pretty much on my birthday. It's probably gonna be like the day of or after my birthday, and my 10-year anniversary of starting at Big 5 is October 31st. So that's just funny. So yeah, that's where the story has ended on this NPTE journey. Obviously, like I'll probably make another one for like when I'm, you know, studying. The nice thing is that my buddy from the year below me is taking the October exam for her class, because that's the early testing for her. So we will be able to study together, because I obviously do not do well with trying to make my own study plan. And once I, you know, don't have this crazy schedule at clinic anymore, like I'll be able to basically make my own study schedule, because Big 5 I can literally work whenever. Like they're extremely flexible. So if I don't want to work one day, or if I only want to do an opening or only want to do closing or whatever, like they're really accommodating, which is literally why I've worked for them for so long, because they're always accommodating to my school schedule or my whatever. That's why I'm going to stay there. I was talking to one of the PTs today that said that she thought that Arizona did have a temporary license, because she thought somebody from her class like was working like part-time while they were studying for boards, like at like a PT clinic, and they were just like working under somebody else's license. So I might look into that, because like obviously like I would love to, you know, continue doing physical therapy and get like paid for it, but I like refuse to go back to working as a tech. Like now that I know the other side of it as like the physical therapist, like I cannot go back to being a tech. Like I 1000% would rather work at Big 5 than to work as a tech for such little pay and such hard work, at least at the places that I've teched at. Honestly, the Spooner techs have it good. Like, they only work with like 1 patient at a time, maybe 2 if we're double booked. And even then, like, half the time they're like, hey, can you help my patient out? Like, they'll ask another tech. And I'm like, bro, I used to work with like 6 or 7 patients at one time. Like, so they have it way easy. It like blew my mind when I first started. I was like, what? I mean, it's great. Like, I love that, you know, they get to focus more on one person, and they're really good at like making sure they're doing the proper exercise and like everything. Like, that's like part of like your job as a tech, like, is to watch like their positioning and making sure that they do it properly, you know, when the PT isn't like right there or we're working on somebody else or whatever. So like, being a tech is hard. So I 1000% like love them, like, and appreciate them. I have been them, so I understand. But
okay, sorry about that. Apparently my phone got overheated, and so it like literally was dying. Anyway, I needed to probably stop ranting about this whole thing anyway. I was about done. Said in the last one, if any of you are in Arizona that are looking to get licensed, yeah, you need to do that like in advance, like, apparently. So you have to apply for licensure. If you're doing it before your program ends, you have to get all of this stuff. So be prepared for that. I don't know what to tell you. Thanks so much for being here and watching this craziness with me, because, you know, it wouldn't be Watson World without some, you know, drama. So anyway, that's gonna just do it for this video, and hope to see you in the next one. I'm gonna make a clip talking about how my rotation's been going. So if you are curious about that at all, make sure you watch my TCE 3 videos. I have been really bad at making updates, so it's fine. That's about it. So thanks all y'all for watching and being here, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye-bye.